Lily Dawson was a simple woman with a heart full of sunshine. Her days were filled with the aroma of freshly baked bread, the vibrant hues of her flower shop, and the comforting routine of her life. She had dreams, of course. Dreams of finding a love as pure and vibrant as the lilies she nurtured. Dreams of a family, of laughter echoing in a home filled with warmth. Lily believed in the goodness of the world, in the magic of a kind word and a shared smile. Life was good. Life was simple. Life was about to change. It was a rainy Thursday afternoon when he walked into her shop. Ethan Blackwood. Tall, with eyes like dark chocolate and a voice that seemed to weave magic around her. He spoke of rare orchids and ancient folklore, his words painting vivid pictures in her mind. He was different, intriguing, like a captivating melody she couldn't quite place. Lily felt an inexplicable pull towards him, a flutter in her chest that she'd never known before. He was like a moth drawn to a flame, and she, the unsuspecting light, welcoming the warmth he seemed to offer. She didn't know it then, but she had just opened her door to darkness. Days turned into weeks, and Ethan became a constant presence in Lily's life. He brought her exotic flowers, spun tales of faraway lands, and showered her with compliments that made her heart soar. Yet something felt amiss. A subtle shift in the air, a whisper of unease that she couldn't quite grasp. She began to experience strange bouts of fatigue, a persistent exhaustion that sleep couldn't cure. Little things started to go wrong. Missed buses, forgotten appointments, deadlines slipping by in a haze of forgetfulness. It was as if her life force was slowly draining away, leaving behind a hollow shell of the vibrant woman she once was. "There's something about him, Lily." Rachel, Lily's best friend, frowned, her brow creased with concern. "You're not yourself. You're pale, exhausted, and you keep forgetting things. It's like you're fading away." Lily brushed off her concerns, attributing her fatigue to the long hours at the shop and the changing seasons. But deep down, a seed of doubt had been sown. Ethan's constant presence, his intense gaze, the way her energy seemed to ebb away after each meeting, the pieces of the puzzle were slowly starting to fall into place. Driven by a growing sense of dread, Lily couldn't shake the feeling that something was terribly wrong. She decided to pay Ethan an unexpected visit, hoping to find answers to the questions that haunted her every waking moment. His house, nestled amidst a grove of ancient oaks, had always been a place of mystery and unease. As she stepped inside, the creaking of the old door echoed through the stillness, amplifying her anxiety. A chill ran down her spine. The air was heavy, thick with the scent of incense and something else she couldn't quite place, a metallic tang that made her stomach churn. The smoke from the incense swirled around her, creating an almost suffocating atmosphere. She sniffed the air, trying to identify the source of the strange odor. The metallic tang was unmistakable, and it filled her with a sense of foreboding. It was in his study that she found them. The room was cluttered with mysterious objects, each one more peculiar than the last. Rows upon rows of glass vials filled with shimmering liquids lined the shelves, each one meticulously labelled with a name and a date. She couldn't help but wonder what secrets these vials held and why Ethan had kept them hidden away. Her breath hitched as her gaze fell upon a vial at the centre, its contents glowing with an eerie luminescence. The glow seemed to pulse with a life of its own, drawing her in and filling her with a sense of dread. Lily Dawson, her name, her birth date. The realization hit her like a ton of bricks. What did this mean? Why was her name on one of these vials? The questions swirled in her mind, each one more terrifying than the last. Panic clawed at her throat, a suffocating grip that tightened with each passing second. Frantically, she searched the room, her heart pounding against her ribs like a trapped bird. Books on ancient rituals, tomes on forgotten magic, and scrolls covered in cryptic symbols, each one hinting at a horrifying truth. The room was a labyrinth of knowledge, each corner hiding secrets that could either save her or doom her further. She pored over scrolls covered in cryptic symbols, her eyes scanning for any clue, any hint that could lead her to salvation. Each symbol seemed to pulse with a life of its own, whispering dark secrets and ancient truths. Ethan wasn't who he seemed. His charming facade masked a sinister reality. He was a practitioner of dark magic, a master of forbidden arts. His rituals were shrouded in darkness, each one more malevolent than the last. Ethan was a siphon of life force, drawing energy from the unsuspecting to fuel his own dark powers. The aura around him was a swirling vortex of stolen vitality. And she, his unwitting victim, had been ensnared in his web of deceit and dark magic. The realization hit her like a tidal wave, leaving her reeling. Days turned into nights as Lily delved deeper into the forbidden knowledge, her eyes growing weary, but her resolve unbroken. She pored over ancient texts, her mind absorbing every detail, every nuance. Her determination was fueled by a potent cocktail of fear and anger. She would not be a victim. She would fight back no matter the cost. She learned of ancient curses, dark spells that could bind and destroy. Each page she turned revealed more about the dark arts Ethan wielded. She discovered the existence of energy vampires, malevolent beings who thrived on the vitality of others. The illustrations were haunting, depicting eerie figures draining life force from their victims. And then she found it, counterspells, difficult and dangerous but not impossible. The spells required precision, strength, and an unwavering will. Hope, like a fragile seedling, began to bloom in the desolate landscape of her fear. It was a glimmer of light in the darkness, a promise of salvation if she could muster the courage to seize it. Section 7. Confronting the Darkness. She returned to his house, armed with the knowledge gleaned from her research and a newfound resolve hardening her gaze. He was expecting her, a knowing smirk playing on his lips as she stepped into the dimly lit study. "Leaving so soon, my dear Lily?" His voice, usually a soothing melody, now grated on her nerves like nails on a chalkboard. "You won't get away with this, Ethan." Her voice, though trembling slightly, held a steely undertone. She pulled out a handful of vials from her bag, each one filled with a concoction of herbs and crystals, the counterspell she had painstakingly brewed. "It ends tonight." Section 8. Reclaiming her light. This is the story of a woman who found herself in the darkest of places, only to rise again, reclaiming the light that was always hers. He lunged for her, his eyes flashing with a cold, predatory hunger, but she was ready. She had been preparing for this moment, knowing that it would come down to a final confrontation. With a swift movement, she hurled the vials to the ground, the glass shattering and the potent mixture splattering across the floor. The concoction was something she had meticulously crafted, a blend of ancient herbs and powerful elixirs. The air crackled with energy, the scent of ancient herbs mixing with the metallic tang she had come to associate with Ethan's magic. It was a heady mix, one that signaled the beginning of the end. A wave of energy pulsed through the room, knocking them both off their feet. The force was immense, a testament to the power that had been unleashed. Lily cried out, clutching at her chest as she felt a surge of energy coursing through her veins. It was overwhelming, yet invigorating, as if every cell in her body was being awakened. It was her life force, returning to her, stronger than before. She could feel it, the power that had been taken from her, now flowing back with a renewed vigor. Ethan, however, was not so fortunate. The energy that had once been his was now tearing him apart, leaving him vulnerable and broken. He shrieked, a sound of pure agony, as his body contorted, his youthful facade crumbling like dust. The power he had stolen was now his undoing, leaving him a mere shadow of his former self. Lily stood tall, her light reclaimed, ready to face whatever came next. Section 9. The House of Shadows abandoned. Lily didn't stay to watch him wither. She fled the house, the weight of his darkness lifting with each step she took. The forest, once a place of dread, now felt alive, the trees whispering words of encouragement as she emerged into the cleansing light of dawn. Ethan's house, once a place of subtle horror, stood abandoned, its secrets buried under a shroud of silence. The townsfolk, sensing the shift in the air, steered clear, their whispers painting the house as haunted, cursed. And perhaps it was. Haunted by the ghost of stolen energy, cursed by the weight of its own darkness. Section 10. A new dawn, a stronger spirit. Life returned to a semblance of normalcy, but Lily was forever changed. The ordeal had tempered her spirit, replacing her naive innocence with a steely resolve and a newfound appreciation for the fragility of life. She was more cautious now, more aware of the shadows that lurked beneath the surface. But most importantly, she had learned that the greatest magic resided not in ancient spells or dark rituals, but within herself, the power of her own spirit, her resilience, and her unwavering belief in the goodness of life. It was a power that no darkness could ever truly extinguish.